my darlings, I hope you're doing very, very well. I hope you are sitting comfortably, you are cozy, and you have your snacks and your beverages at the ready. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at Reddit's Am I Overreacting? I have done one other video of this, pretty sure it's just one other video of this, and I thoroughly enjoyed that video and filming that video because, like, I'm nosy, you know, and like I want to know what's going on in people's lives, and if it's tattoo related, oh well, sign me up, you know, like I love anything tattoo related. So if we've got like drama and then like tattoo related things, oh girl, sign me up. So we're gonna be doing that today, so sit down, get comfy, get cozy, all right, get all snuggled up, and yeah, we're just gonna look at people overreacting. But yeah, this subreddit called Am I Overreacting is basically a place where people come to Reddit and ask, am I overreacting in a situation? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but hey, just so you know. Okay, so the first one we're going to be looking at is, am I overreacting for thinking my boyfriend, 21 male, freaked out way too much over me wanting a tattoo? So there is a screenshot of a text here that says, can't believe you'd even consider this a tattoo. It just feels so rebellious and unnecessary. I feel like tattoos are not seen as rebellious anymore, or is that just me? I just feel like that's gone now, right? Well, it depends, I guess, where you are from, where you live, your upbringing and all of that, right? Okay, what's next? Covering your whole body? Bloody hell. I feel like I don't even recognize you anymore when you bring this up. Please don't do something so reckless. And then the person said it's literally just a tiny tattoo. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it says, so I, female 19, told my boyfriend, 21 male, that I was considering getting a small tattoo on my shoulder. Nothing huge, literally something that could be covered by a t-shirt. I've always wanted one since high school, but I figured I'd wait until I was old enough to do it properly. We were on FaceTime, and before we hung up, I casually mentioned I might stop by a studio tomorrow just to talk with an artist. About half an hour later, he blows up my phone with this massive paragraph about how I'm ruining my body forever, that it's a rebellious phase, and that he can't just sit there and watch me destroy myself. I beg your pardon. I honestly found it a little insane for him to react like that over something so small, like it's a tattoo, not me shaving my head or selling everything to join a cult. Part of me wonders if I'm downplaying it and he just cares a lot, but the other part feels like he's being way too controlling. What do you guys think? Oh, dump him. Dump him immediately. What the actual hell? Like this person said, it's a tiny tattoo on their shoulder. I can imagine it's probably just like a little quote or a little butterfly or something like that. Like nothing too drastic, not like a big traditional piece or a hand tattoo or anything like that. Like it's just a little simple tattoo that could be easily hidden by clothing, a cardigan, jumper, whatever, right? This boyfriend is for sure overreacting. The original poster is not overreacting by any means. Like if I had a man tell me that I can't get a tiny tattoo on my shoulder, dumped immediately, like gone in the trash, goodbye forever. What do you mean you're gonna act like this over a tiny tattoo? It makes you wonder what's next. Don't cut your hair like that. Don't style your hair like that. Don't colour your hair like that. Don't wear that dress. Don't wear that cardigan. Like, it never stops at just a tattoo for the majority of people. Like, people like this just love to control people, you know? Like, sure, you can advise your other half or your best friend or whoever and be like, I don't know if that suits you, you know, because you're just being a girl's girl, or you're just, you know, being nice because you're just like, yeah, that don't look great. But you have to let people do what they want at the same time. Like, you can have an opinion for sure, but it's just how you go about that opinion, you know? Like, just calm down. Let's see what people have said in the comments section. My last boyfriend did something like this when I got my first tattoo. Then he tried to break up with me for getting the COVID vaccine. I'm sorry, but I'm dying over your example of it's not like I'm shaving my head. That's not permanent in any way whatsoever. And it's one of the silliest analogies I've ever heard in my life. That said, he's being a drama queen. You aren't going to go from having a small tattoo on your shoulder to having your entire body covered in tattoos. He's being so dramatic. Well, that's how it started for a lot of us. I started off with a tiny star on my wrist and now look at me. It's a slippery slope getting that first tattoo because you get one and then you're like, I could go for another. Kind of like a dessert buffet, you know, you have one little slice of cheesecake and then you're like, you know what, I could have another. I have a friend exactly like this, not exactly a close friend, but more like a work friend. He literally despises tattoos and thinks they have a satanic meaning. The way he's talking at you here is exactly how my friend talks to people with tattoos and piercings at work, especially women. To me, it basically seems like a way of manipulating you, and yes, it is controlling. I would rethink this relationship if I were in your shoes. That seems like sociopathic behavior. I mean, maybe I'm not a psychiatrist. I cannot diagnose anyone or say this is true. Maybe if you've had experiences of dealing with people like this person's boyfriend, then maybe you can confirm or deny. I don't know. I will fully stand by it. It's very, very controlling, and that to me just isn't a healthy relationship. I've been very lucky in all of my relationships, and the majority of them have never told me what to do. Well, there's been times where some things have been said, but it's never been toxic or, you know, too much, you know. The pearl clutching is so crazy. Bro had a full crash out over a tattoo. If I didn't read the caption, I would have assumed this was from your 70-year-old grandma. My teenage daughter mentioned about getting a discreet arm tattoo. I said, sure, when you are 100% sure that you want one, and will go through the process as and when. I cannot imagine a 21-year-old man having the reaction OP's boyfriend had, the start of controlling behavior, I would suspect. I agree with this. Like, again, it never stops at just one thing. When it comes to stuff like this, like crashing out so much over a little tattoo, it's always gonna be another thing. It may take a little while for it to show up again, but this type of behavior will come up for something else. You want a tattoo? What's next? The devil's lettuce? Crack? Teen pregnancy? Am I overreacting? My mum got upset at me because I didn't invite her to a tattoo appointment I spontaneously booked. Oh no, okay. I'm going to read the context first before reading the messages. I feel like we need to know more before we look at these text messages. Context: I booked a custom tattoo appointment early Saturday morning for myself after years of wanting to do it. It was very last minute. I happened to find the artist on TikTok late Friday night, sent a form in, and she approved it Saturday morning. I submitted my deposit and scheduled it for a day in November that works best for me. It's over an hour away and I happen to need to be in the area on that day anyhow. Ooh, I love when that happens, when plans align like that. Gorgeous. I sent my mum a message right after letting her know, sharing my excitement, inspo pic I sent, and the TikTok video blacked out. Nothing else was said. This is how she responded. Should we read the messages? Let's read the messages now and then we'll go back to the rest of it. Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea. So this is the original poster sending a message to their mum saying, I just booked a tattoo appointment, custom tattoo for my forearm, something themed. And then the inspo is blacked out. This is the inspo I sent her. It's at noon. Works out well since I have something event that evening too. This is who I booked with. The mum says, I'm happy you're getting a new tattoo, but I'm sad you don't want to have your mum with you. The original poster said, did I say I didn't want you there? And then the mum says, yes, your mother was having a lonely fucking week and I wanted to be wanted, whatever. Oh my God. Okay, 0 to 100. Right, okay, that's... And then the original poster says, are you serious? Come on, mum. I was excited about something and was telling you about it and you made it all about you. I wasn't even thinking about who could or couldn't come. Newsflash, I live alone and regularly do many, many things myself or by myself. So it's not always a thought about who should be with me. Also, I have to take off work to do this and just choose the best possible time for me since I was going to be down there anyway. You are literally the one to tell me that you can't come down until Christmas since you're too busy. Good night. Thanks for ruining my night. Ooh. The mum says, I guess making sure we have a happy celebration of what you're doing wasn't on my mind when I was feeling sad and lonely. All I did was let you know I was hurting. To me, it is all consuming. I tried to keep it light and you took it it as whatever to you. I feel even more alone after being yelled at by you. I'm sorry again that my mental health has intruded in your happiness. I would love to spend time with you. That's not how you go about it. The original poster said, Mum, I don't think you understand what happened. I texted you about my excitement for finally scheduling a tattoo appointment. Instead of getting an excited response from you, you decided to put words in my mouth saying that I didn't want you there. Was I not allowed to be... where is it? Was I not allowed to be perturbed? I have never seen this word before. Is that a mistake or is this a word that I've just never seen before? Perturbed? Anyway, perturbed about that. When I asked you where I said that, you just blew it off. Then you decided to yell at me last night right before bed, saying that you were lonely and wanted to feel wanted. Sorry, but just a week prior, you had called and cancelled our weekend and said you were busy until Christmas. But I'm not making you feel wanted. You are the one that cancelled on our weekend 3 times, not me, you. But then you expect me to run everything by you ahead of time. After you said you were busy until Christmas. Make it make sense, because to me, you are blaming me for your unhappiness, blaming me for not knowing you were having a bad week, and blaming me because you got upset for reasons that have nothing to do with me. And this should go without saying, but I'll say it anyway. I'm allowed to want to do stuff without... Do we get to see that? Allowed to want to do stuff without you, whether that's alone or with my friends. Just because I choose to do something alone doesn't mean I don't care about you. There is stuff I prefer to do with you, and there is stuff I prefer to do with my friends, and there is stuff I prefer to do alone. And I am allowed to think that way, and I will not feel bad about it. In the case of this specific case, I simply found a TikTok video late Friday night with this artist, went to her website and submitted a form for a custom tattoo. She approved it first thing Saturday morning. She has only limited hours available, and I chose what worked best for me and submitted a down payment. I did not consider you at any point because doing something with you was not even at the forefront of my mind, considering you had told me you were busy until Christmas. And I've been wanting to do this for years, and I decided something I would treat myself for my birthday. That's literally all that happened. I'm sorry you had a bad week, but I really wish you hadn't put words in my mouth. You made me out to be a villain when I was just trying to treat myself to something special. The mum said you were overly mean in your reply. The mum then said, I'm sad I can't be with you. How should have I worded it? I think I did not think about how I was coming off. So much in here doesn't reflect my view. I would have responded better to you letting me know I was wrong in a single sentence. Thinking and wondering why you felt I needed a scolding maybe, on how to mentally prepare myself before I chat with you, because now I feel there are eggshells to be stepped on. You're talking to me in a newsflash is not acceptable to me and should be used with people who don't know you. Actually, this whole reply is structured as a lecture. Please don't lecture me. I blew it off because it wasn't as big an issue for me as you. I knew and still know my time issues are my own. I did not realize I was hurting you by continuing to make plans and cancelling. In my tiny defense, I was having surgery. If you get so upset with me, please show a bit of respect talking to your mother. I'm sorry, my love, but I feel you crossed the mother-daughter line. Please call me. I love you. I know you're at work. Call me when you're ready to talk. Rephrasing this, I shouldn't have put words in your mouth. Oh my God. How much of this is that? I cannot read anymore. This is just crazy. Anyway, it's just very, very, it's just mother-daughter drama, okay? I haven't gone through... I don't think I've ever had a message exchange like this with my mum, ever. I mean, my mum did die over 10 years ago, so... Whoop, trauma. But yeah, I've never had it out with my mum like this, you know, like, this is just wild to me. Like, I get both sides, I guess. Like, the mum does seem a bit, like, dramatic, in my opinion. I don't know, it's very, like, I can't explain it anyway. So let's carry on reading this after all of that. The original poster carries on saying, I was immediately annoyed with her response while she said she was excited. She then decided to put words in my mouth and make it about her, at least in my opinion. And you can see where it goes from there. She basically ignored me after I asked the follow-up questions for over 2 days until she responded late Monday night. For additional context, my mum has narcissistic tendencies and easily gets upset when things don't go her way. And she has literally told me in a serious manner that she hates being told no. On the other hand, I take after my dad, much more laid back, people pleaser, have a hard time saying no, introverted, etc. My mum also lives many hours away, so it's usually a planned trip when she visits. She was supposed to visit over Labor Day weekend, then moved it to the weekend before, then moved it to the last weekend in September, before finally cancelling altogether and saying she will come down for Christmas. I host. I am not upset she cancelled. I was upset that she thought that I should still consider her when I plan something, even though she said she would be busy until Christmas. Tattoo is in November. So am I overreacting, or do I have a right to be upset about her throwing a tantrum and making such a big deal about it? Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, this is just like family drama, and in my opinion, this person is not overreacting by any means, and I would also be kind of upset at the reaction. Like, I don't know, again, this person was basically just coming to their mum and being like, hey, like, this is so exciting for me, I'm so excited. And the mum just kind of like rained on this parade a little bit and was just like, what about me? And it's like, time and place, honey. I get that this mum wants to spend time with their daughter and what have you, but you should vocalize that, you know, instead of being so arsy about it. You should just be like, oh, I'm so happy for you, I'm so excited, that's great, when's your appointment? If I can make it, I would love to come with you. Something like that, right? You don't have to be all, but I'm sad you don't want to have your mum with you. That was never even mentioned. There was never, oh mum, I don't want you coming with me. There was nothing like that. So if the mum wants to, you know, go with her, she should just be like, oh, I would love to come with you. Just so the daughter knows, because the daughter is assuming and aware that this mother is busy until Christmas. So I too would make the assumption that the mother wouldn't want to come or wouldn't be able to come too. You know? So let's look at the comments. Someone said, you're not responsible for your mum's happiness or her sad and lonely week. Don't carry that burden. I agree with that. Like, I mean, it's really hard for me to comment on this kind of thing because I, again, haven't had a parent in so many years, you know, so I don't even know what I would do. I mean, my mum didn't like tattoos, so she would never want to come to a tattoo appointment with me anyway, so I just can't put myself in this person's shoes by any means, because I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is like. What do you mean your mum wants to come and watch you get tattooed? My mum would never have wanted to do that. Another comment says, oh sweetie, the gaslighting and emotional manipulation and narcissism coming from your mother. Oh ho ho. I am pissed for you. You need to go no contact with her until she learns that her behavior is not acceptable. Wow. Okay, would any of you advise that or do that? Let me know. Honestly, I would just stop telling your mum anything. Let her feel alone and lonely and not wanted, because this behavior is not wanted and unwarranted and unacceptable. Nothing you said was terrible and she's taking it like a baby. Definitely not overreacting. Yeah, the consensus is definitely this person isn't overreacting, and I fully agree with that. The original poster is not overreacting by any means. I too would be a bit like, oh, whoa, what are you doing here? You know, like, why are we taking it from 0 to 100? Like, very poor communication skills from the mother. That's what I will say. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Am I overreacting for being hurt at the way my friend reacted after seeing my tattoo? Let's take a look at this tattoo real quick. Oh, they're cute. They're like little locket things, right? With little cats, and they've got little bow ties on them. That's actually so freaking cute. Why is someone being mean about this tattoo? I think that's fucking adorable. I, 19 female, got a tattoo a couple of days back on my arm. It's that of a cat in a heart-shaped pendant. It's a matching tattoo that I got with my sister. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. That's actually such a cute idea. I shared the pics with this friend, 20 female, but she didn't reply for a couple of days. We were on a call yesterday and I asked her what she thought about it since she didn't reply to my text. She said, are you kidding me? You got that for real? Why would you do that? That looks so unprofessional. What? Why is it so huge and ugly and at the center of your arm? It looks bad. I wouldn't want you as a bridesmaid at my wedding with a tattoo like that. It looks like a kid scribbled something on your arm. no. I said, no, I like it. I think it's really cute. And she just kept arguing with me. I initially laughed off her comments, but I've been thinking about it and I feel so bad about what she said. I don't want her to like it or lie to me about it, but isn't what she said kind of out of line? For such a tiny and inoffensive tattoo, I was really hurt. I would be too. There is nothing wrong with this at all. I feel like this tattoo is freaking adorable. Like, it's so precious, and it obviously is very, very meaningful to these two sisters also. And it kind of just gives off like storybook vibes. Like, I don't know why, but it's just giving off like Beatrix Potter kind of vibes, that kind of art style. This person is not overreacting by any means. I also would be kind of hurt. The thing is with me though, I don't care if people like my tattoos or not. Because as long as I like them, that's all that fucking matters to me. You know, you can say what you want about my tattoos, but then again, I have been posting on the internet since I was like 17. I've heard it all before. You know, you could call me anything under the sun. You can insult my tattoos. I don't care. I like them. And that's all that matters to me, right? But I know some people haven't, you know, been through the most when it comes to people's opinions about them. You know, this person probably hasn't had negative opinions thrown at them for years and years and years, so it's gonna sting a bit more, especially as it's come from a friend. I think actually, if I was about to say, if I had a friend say they don't like my tattoo, I'd be a bit upset, but that's not that's not true. Because again, I don't care. I literally don't care. But I know everyone is different, you know, and that I fully understand. But I'd love to know how you'd feel in this situation if a friend told you they didn't like your tattoo. Anyway, let's look at some of the comments. Someone said, if you like it, that's all that matters. If your friend says this is something that would prevent you from being a bridesmaid at her wedding, then you need to find a new friend. Exactly. It's perfectly fine that she doesn't like the tattoo. What is not fine is her trying to insult you for it. She's a trash friend. She could have just said she doesn't care for the tattoo instead. She went on talking bad about it. You don't have to agree that it's a lovely tattoo, but she should still be respectful of you and your decision. She wasn't. Exactly. That's why I try to be kind of mindful when I do comment about tattoos that I don't like. You know, if I do a Reddit video of bad tattoos or whatever, I always try to be like, it's your body, your choice. You know, if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. But when it comes to art and tattoos, it's very subjective, and you are going to come across people that don't like your tattoos or the design or the style or the quality of them. It's just one of those things that's gonna happen. But you should never take your opinions to a personal level of saying stuff like you wouldn't make a good bridesmaid and stuff like that's just too far. Too freaking far. You're very much allowed to say you don't like a tattoo, but don't take it too far, you know? Maybe she was looking for an excuse to not have you there as a bridesmaid and is doubling down on your tattoo because you presented her with an opportunity to use that as an excuse. Oh, that's a very good theory, and it's very, very possible. Again, this doesn't seem like a very good friend, so there's every chance that, you know, this friend is trying to just get rid of this original poster as a friend and just being mean and thought, you know what, I'll just use this tattoo as a way to be mean and get rid of her kind of thing, instead of just communicating whatever issues she may have, right? Oh, someone said overreacting. Oh, when you get a tattoo and insist for people to comment on it after they initially decided not to say anything, you should brace yourself that they most likely don't have anything nice to say about it. Why do you even care what others think of your tattoo? It's yours. You got it for yourself. Yes, they could have been nicer, and the response would annoy me as well, but people suck sometimes and not everyone will be kind to you always. That is the other side of the coin of this. Like, you should always brace yourself for impact when you ask people for opinions. But again, I think it's just because the style and the design of the tattoo just seems so inoffensive and it's just not ugly to me. Like, I feel like, is there anyone watching this that thinks this is a bad tattoo or ugly? You know, like, it's adorable. Like, you cannot be mad at this. And then someone said the tattoo is not great. Your friend is blunt and not great. What? Oh, someone else said it's a shitty tattoo though. Oh no, I feel like people are missing like the endearment of it. I think because the line work isn't like straight and smooth, it's more of like an artistic style. You know, like, I can see what the tattoo artist was trying to do here. I can see that it's like artistic. It's not meant to be perfect. The line work isn't meant to be, you know, symmetrical and even within the gaps and stuff around the outside of the locket. I think that there is that. I feel so protective over this tattoo and I don't know why. Oh. am I overreacting to someone I know showing me their tattoos and it looks racist? I mean, we can only see a little bit there, and the two lightning signs or the SS sign, whatever you want to call it, right? That's a Nazi tattoo, yeah? It says, okay, so I got this buddy of mine and we've been decent friends for a while, but I hadn't seen all of his tattoos so far. He sent me a video, and is it just me or is he a neo-Nazi? I asked him about it and he said he's a Peckerwood, but that's also a hate group. I haven't heard of Peckerwood before. Do forgive my ignorance here, but that is something I've not heard of before. Hang on. Oh, so it's a US thing. That's probably why I haven't heard of it, because, you know, I live in the UK. According to Wiki, Peckerwood is a US racial epithet used against white people, especially poor rural whites. Originally an ethnic slur, the term has been reclaimed by a subculture related to prison gangs and outlaw motorcycle clubs. The term was in use as an inversion of woodpecker in the southern United States by 1830s. It's also with the sense referring to white people documented from the 1850s, African American folklore in the 1920s. Okay, according to this also, it's basically white power, skinhead culture and all of that. Basically just racist things. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of Nazi words in here and all of that. Okay, so yeah, not a nice group of people, basically. I do apologize. I'd rather be open and honest and say, hey, I don't know about this, and, you know, show my findings and stuff, because that's just who I am. Like, I never claim to know everything, and especially when it comes to US history. You know, I didn't learn about that in school and what have you. I learned about Tudors and King Henry and all of his bloody wives. So, yeah, I mean, these are traditional Nazi signs right there on someone's chest. That's definitely, yeah, it's not great, okay? It's not good. Yeah, there's the lightning bolts there. They are a neo-Nazi symbol. You should not be having these tattooed on you, and that's for sure. And then, oh, here's some I could have maybe just scrolled, and there's more information here. But yeah, it's got all the information here as well that I've kind of just read myself. And yeah, skinhead, gang, racist, all of that. Okay, not a great guy. Oh, there is text. Okay, homie, why do you have two lightning bolts? I've been to prison. Buddy, those are Nazi tattoos. Why you got the Nazi tattoos? What for? Because me and you come from different cultures and atmospheres. Okay, but like, are you like a neo-Nazi? No, I'm a Peckerwood. Got respect for all races, but look out for my own with pride. Oh my God, just say you're racist. You don't need to be doing all that. Like, if you are going to favor white people, you're racist, okay? Like, let's just call a spade in this situation, honey. Like, oh my God. Yeah, someone else said this in the comments. My own with pride, there's your third clue. He views himself and other whites as separate and sees a reason to defend whites from everyone who isn't like them. That's a pretty alarming, bitter red pill. No matter how he tries to sugarcoat that bullshit, this isn't the same as being proud Irish or Italian or Indian, Mexican, celebrating your culture. It's blatantly seeing other races as a perceived threat and disguising it as pride in his heritage. He's either full of bullshit and thinks you're gullible, or he's ignorant and stupid. Either way, he's showing you what he is. I would advise you don't associate with him further, which I fully agree. Like, if I had a friend that had, you know, this hidden tattoo that I wasn't aware of and showed me it, even though if I know them on a, you know, a deep level and I've never seen them behave in a racist way, the racist Nazi tattoo would be enough for me to be like, I don't care what you say. Yes, I've not seen this behavior from you myself, but you have that permanently tattooed on you. I think we're good. I think we can get rid of this friendship, you know? Like, it's just not worth it to me. Like, our views clearly do not align by any means. It's crazy how these people can kind of hide who they actually are, though, because this person hasn't noticed maybe any racist behavior from them to have been able to call it out before. You know, like, the way they hide in plain sight is quite scary. The way he doubled down was just like, I'm not racist, but I favor white people. It's clearly not something that has left him. He's not like a reformed prison convict or anything like that. It's not like he's changed, you know, because some people do have Nazi tattoos because they've been to prison, they had a certain lifestyle, and then they come out of prison and then they change. This person clearly hasn't changed. Your body is a Nazi. It's time to stop talking to him. They say if 11 people sit down to dinner with a Nazi, you have a table with 12 Nazis. At this point, if you stay friends with him, it's because you're one too. Because everyone else thinks those beliefs are abhorrent and wants nothing to do with anyone who feels that way. Which I agree, I wouldn't want anything to do with someone that displays any kind of Nazi behaviour, obviously. Him showing you his tattoos is the test. If you let the tattoo slide, he's going to believe you're of similar persuasion and it's only going to get worse. Yeah, that could be true. That could be true. Okay, my darlings, I'm going to read one more for this video. This is, am I overreacting because our tattoos took over 11 hours? Obligatory. This is a throwaway account because I'm nervous someone will see this. A couple of edits at the top that say, thank you so far for your opinions. I'd like to state a few things. The artist's work is excellent. Their lines are very rich, but also thin and precise. I thoroughly believe they have potential. I know that they're an apprentice and hiccups are part of the experience. I'd like to mention, however, that the last apprentice I went to took maybe 2.5 hours to complete 4 flashes, all of which were larger and far more detailed and also on the same 3 people as this instance. Edit 2. I think the part I'm most bothered by is that the artist didn't seem to notice they were taking what I believe to be egregiously long to both tattoo and reset in between clients. Like they went through the whole day happy and without any apologies whatsoever. Okay, me and my partner were recommended an apprentice tattoo artist by a co-worker of my partner who had a really good deal for small flash tattoos for $100 a still. So we booked a couple appointments to each get 4 of the artist flashes. I booked the day off. My partner got approval to come in late for their shift. Oh no, that's never a good idea, getting tattooed before going to work, just in case you do run over, right? Like have I ever done that? I think I got tattooed in a lunch break once, actually. I'm pretty sure I got tattooed, but I went with my manager. That's it. I went with my manager. I'm pretty sure we went in our lunch break, right? And I only got like little finger tattoos, so it didn't take long at all. And I'm pretty sure I was there with my manager. She was a bad influence, I'm just gonna say. Anyway, this is when I worked in retail, obviously. Anyway, the artist didn't have any other appointments for the day, so we agreed to come in for 1 p.m. My partner would go first, get their tattoos, then head off for work for 4 p.m. while I sat for mine and I headed home. We got there at 12:30 p.m. or so, trying to be a bit proactive. We also had to bus, so our arrival times were limited, and it turns out the shop doesn't even open until 1 p.m. Whatever, not a huge deal. Maybe we should have checked that beforehand, but I digress. We messaged the artist asking if we were at the right building. It didn't have any signs on it. Sketchy, I know. They said yes and that we could head inside because a fellow artist was probably in there doing their own appointments. We head inside. There is indeed another artist there. They ask if we have an appointment. We say yes. They say okay, and that we can hang out in the waiting area until our artist arrives. 20 minutes passed, it's 12:50 p.m. and our artist messages us to say they will be late due to traffic and construction, blah blah blah, whatever, not the end of the world. 1:20 p.m. rolls round and our artist comes sauntering in, almost no urgency, no apology, nothing, just a hey, how are you guys? They sit down at their station, looks over at us and goes, I'm just going to take about 20 minutes to set up my stuff. Okay, yeah, sure, do what you gotta do. 1:45 comes, they go, okay, I'm just gonna head out back and get those stencils printed off. We sent them our selections beforehand to hopefully smoothen the process. 1:55, at this point, they have been gone for 10 minutes, no word, no nothing. I'm seriously considering leaving within the next 5 minutes for wasting my time, but finally our artist emerges and they have our just paper cutouts for placements, which were also already submitted beforehand, meaning they had to go back and print off the actual stencils. I would have anxiety now at this point because I'd be like, I've got work soon, like I'm gonna have to leave soon. I'd be pissed if I was, in this situation. Obviously it's not the artist's fault that I have work, you know, of course, but I'd still be like, ugh. It's now 2:10 p.m, over an hour after our appointment was set to start, and the blue stencils are only now going on my partner, and they're sitting down for the tattoos. Now, to play devil's advocate, my partner did choose some rather big and detailed pieces from the flash sheet, but I still don't believe that we should only be on tattoo 3 by 4:45 p.m, almost 3 hours later, and 45 minutes after they're supposed to be at work. Oh shit. When they finish the third tattoo, they collectively come to the agreement that they should stop for the day and schedule another day to get the last tattoo done. And their sister, who joined us after work around 2, drives them off to work. How do you even go about this? Like, this person is so late to work. I just call in sick at this point, or I think I just wouldn't have got the tattoo. Like, again, my anxiety would have been through the roof if I knew I hadn't even started a tattoo yet and I'd have work at 4 p.m, because you obviously have to travel to your job. So, like, there'd be no point of starting a tattoo, right? After the artist cleans up their station and disposes of everything, it's about 5 p.m. now, and the artist goes, I'll just need about 20 minutes to set up my stuff again. 6 rolls around, and we are finally starting my tattoos, which by some power of God, they managed to bang out in just shy of an hour. Incredible pace, but then after that, it's my sister-in-law who joined us earlier and decided she'd like some of her own. I'll just need 20 minutes to set up my stuff again, they say, and can you guess how long it took them? 9 p.m. rolls round, and my sister-in-law is now getting her stencils on, and by this point I'm starting to think that my partner will be off work by the time my sister-in-law gets her tattoos done. Boy, was I wrong. My sister-in-law actually only got 2 tattoos done before it hit 11:15 p.m, and the 2 decided to call it a night and reschedule for the same day as my partner. Can't wait to see how that goes. In the end, the apprentice managed to only get 9 flash tattoos done in 11 hours, wasted my entire day, and gained themselves no tips. So I ask you, Reddit, am I overreacting? Oh my god. Okay, well, I will give this apprentice some grace because they are an apprentice, right? They're new to it. Things are going to be a little slow. They're going to be a little slow at tattooing. They're going to be a little slow at setting things up because, well, they're new to it and they want to make sure they're doing it correctly because it's been drilled into the head, if you don't do this correctly, you're going to harm someone. So I will give them grace for that. And that's something that you kind of do have to sign up for when you do get tattooed by apprentices. Not saying all apprentices are bad at timekeeping and very slow, without a doubt. It's going to be case by case situation, but just so you know, you may be waiting a little bit longer than you would with an actual tattoo artist that's been tattooing for years and years and years and has got their setup and, you know, schedule and everything down to a T because they've been doing it for so long. They're very, very well practiced, right? So you have to be mindful of that and that it might happen, okay? I personally wouldn't be too mad at this situation. Like, you probably shouldn't book a tattoo on the same day that you're going to work for this person's partner and what have you. Whether you're going to an apprentice or a normal tattoo artist, right? Like, it might just happen. You have to account into the fact that a tattoo artist may be late, may have some trouble with their printer, because if you're a tattoo artist or an artist, you know printers are the devils, and sometimes artists have trouble with them and that can make you run late. Like, there's so many factors as to why your appointment might take longer than you actually think. So you must factor that in always. But I can understand the frustrations from the client side of things, you know, how long it's taken, how late they were. Like, I get that. So one comment says, it's an apprentice, you knew that, so yes, you're overreacting. And then the person who posted this post on Reddit says, I get that, which is why I'm curious if I'm overreacting, but when compared to the last apprentice I went to, who took maybe 2.5 hours to do 4 flashes that were all larger and more detailed, I start to question if it's a me thing or a them thing. I'll edit that detail in the post. I mean, it could be a case of the apprentice that they went to beforehand had been doing it a little bit longer than this apprentice. There's always that factor too, you know. Someone else said, not overreacting, but this is common for a lot of tattoo artists, especially newer ones. This is fairly egregious and I wouldn't go back, but worth noting that some artists don't set up until the client arrives because they might waste supplies on those shows that way, which, yeah, that makes sense, of course. Yeah, I don't think this poster is overreacting as such because I do get their side of things, but I feel like they just need to be a little bit more understanding of the fact that it was an apprentice and they're gonna just be a little bit slower, you know? Like, it's just one of those things. I feel like if this was posted on the subreddit Am I the Arsehole, I would vote this no arseholes, right? Like they're both just, it's just one of those things that's happened in my opinion. I personally wouldn't be too pissed. I definitely would feel anxious if I did have work on the same day if I was the partner, but other than that, yeah, I'd be fine, you know, waiting around for hours and hours and hours. Personally, I don't mind sitting around in tattoo studios that long, so, because it's normally a vibe, you know, you're hanging around with people that like tattoos. What's not to love? Okay, my darlings, that is it for today's video. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on all the stories that I have read out today. Do you think people are overreacting or not overreacting? Do you have any advice for the people that I have read stories from today? Like, what would you do in these situations? I would love to know. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little while. I appreciate you all so freaking much. And until my next video, stay safe, stay well, and yeah, until then, bye.